The purpose of this video is to describe the process used to create exercise 151-65 for CAD 241 using Creo. To start this, I'm just going to go to the right plane and start my sketch. And the way that I'm going to be working this is I'm going to develop this sketch as if I were developing a section view, because all I'm looking for is a profile. I'm going to start by coming in here and drawing a geometric center line, which is this button right here, and I'm going to have that just be horizontal. Next, I'm going to go ahead and use the regular line command to begin to draw my shape. I know that this comes straight up, over, down, over, down, and I want to make sure that I'm not accidentally placing any automatic constraints as I do this, and I will finish this shape out. Now, I'm going to leave it open-ended down here for just a few minutes while I go through and put in some dimensions. Now, if you look, my dimensions are really far off, so what I'm going to try to do is rope in the diameter dimensions a little bit and then just continue dimensioning the object. So we'll place our first dimension, and because I have a geometric center line here, if I select the object, the center line, and the object again, it'll actually allow me to create a diameter dimension. That's 4. Okay, now it's going to shrink everything down and everything's going to look really bad from here on out, so I just want to kind of move this stuff around so that it's at least in the ballpark of where it's actually going to be when the object is done. So I'm going to shrink that way over, and we'll move this way over. And last but not least, we'll move this particular feature way over, and this. It does help if you draw these objects more proportional to begin with, then you don't have to worry about doing this, but it's really not that big of a deal. So there we have our 4, which is our overall diameter. I need an overall width of 4, so we'll put that in at 4. This diameter right here is 2.75. This diameter here is 2, and this diameter here is 3.25. Now I can change this to 0.38, which it's supposed to be, change this to 0.38, and now the only thing I have left is this other segment right here, which has a dimension of 2.5. So I'll click here and here and put that in as 2.5. Now I've got all of my dimensions in for the initial part of this. I still do not have a closed loop, and I still have 2 open ends because I drew these lines all the way to the center line. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw 2 lines, just come over this way, down, and then out to the end here. And now I'm going to delete segments, and I'm going to delete this segment and this segment. Now what you'll notice is I do have a shaded model to work with now, so when I go to extrude, I know this is going to work. I'll click here, here, and back up to here, and put this in at 1.75. Click here, here, back up to here, and put this in at 1.25. Then I can create my dimension between here and here, which is 0.38. So now I have a completed sketch. Because it's shaded, I know that when I go to extrude or revolve this thing, it's going to work fine. And because I have a geometric, when I finish this sketch and I go to revolve, it's automatically going to pick up on the center line, and it's going to pick up on the profile, so all I have to do is hit the checkbox. I can now come in here and place my fillets. I have fillets here, 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 and here, and the size is 1.25, so I can hit my checkbox. Next, I'm going to place the holes that run through the front. Before I do that, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on Axis, and click right here to create an axis. Now, I do want to make sure that all of my axes are turned on so that I can use them. So by clicking this button right here, we can turn on axes. So for this one, this is a radial type hole. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to click that surface to put the hole in. It does have a diameter of 0.25, and I want it to go to the next face. And even though the preview shows it going all the way through, I know that this is the next face, so that's where it's going to stop. Now I need to put in the dimensions for where this goes. So for placement, I'm first going to click on radial, and then I can hit control and select this plane. That's going to give me the angle dimension from the plane, and then I'm going to click this axis that I already created. Now what you'll notice is it gives me a radius and it gives me an angle. The angle is 0, and the radius is going to be 3.5 divided by 2, which is going to come out at 1.75. That's the hole that I'm looking for, so I can hit the green checkbox, and since I just created it and it's highlighted, I'm going to come right down here to pattern, select axis, pick my axis. It does have 4 objects and they are 90 degrees apart, so I'll hit the checkbox to accept those holes. Now I'm going to swing around and I'm going to go ahead and do the hole on the back, or the 4 holes on the back. So I'll click right here. This is the face that I want them on. The placement for this one, although it looks like it should be based on a radial hole, it's actually going to be based off of this plane and this plane. So it is 2 off of that plane. I'm sorry. It is 1 off of that plane, and it is 1 off of that plane. And it is also going to go to next with a diameter of 0.25. So now with that in, I can simply hit my checkbox again, and it creates that hole. And again, I'm going to go right down to the pattern, and I want this to be an axis pattern, and I'll select my axis, hit the checkbox, and now I've got my 4 holes in. So that's the completed assignment for exercise 151-65 using Creo.